If you had asked me a couple weeks ago what my least favorite mascot horror non-Ban franchise was, I'd probably tell you it was Amanda the Adventurer. Look, the game has some merit, but I just don't really see the hype. There are tons of other better mascot horror games, or so I thought. A couple weeks ago, the third installment of this series, Amanda the Adventurer 3, came out, and it kinda shocked me. And I'm happy to say that I finally see the hype. So today we're going to be talking about what Amanda the Adventurer 3 changed in my mind. So without further ado, let's go! Okay, so in preparation for Amanda the Adventurer 3's release, I went back and replayed the first game and part of the second game. And honestly, the first game kinda holds up. It's a pretty solid play. The story's not the most complex thing ever, and the puzzles can be a little bit confusing at times with their execution, but I don't know, I had a pretty fun time going back through it. I definitely had to look up a couple of the puzzles though, because I kind of just suck at this game. Even then though, they really weren't as bad as I remembered them being, because I played this back when it came out, probably, I think that was in like 2023, and I actually like remembered a good bit of it, so that was pretty nice too. I'd argue that the more basic puzzles at the beginning of the game are probably some of my favorites. I really like the one where you gotta play the different piano keys, and the one where you have to bake the pie. Those are actually really neat. I think once you get to the second playthrough though, it kinda gets a little wonky with the puzzles, and also like what you're actually supposed to do gets a little confusing. But I'd say it's pretty worth it to get to that really cool ending where Amanda tries to come through the screen and you gotta throw a brick at it. That's pretty neat. And her I'm out there
somewhere
line like gets me every time. It is really well done. So yeah, Amanda 1 is a pretty good game that I really enjoyed. How does the sequel hold up? Like flaming garbage. So the reason I was really down on Amanda the Adventurer for a long time was because of this sequel. On my first playthrough, the first puzzle did not work, and I literally quit the game and went to go play Fortnite instead. And I do kind of share that same sentiment now. Amanda the Adventurer 2 kinda sucks. It's basically the first game, but harder, and I don't know what it is about this environment, but it honestly makes me sleepy. I think it's the fact that you're in a library. It's probably that. I just find this game incredibly boring. And I'm also not the biggest fan of the characterization of Amanda here. You'll see once we get to talking about the third game, I really like what they did with her there, but here she just feels like, I don't know, kind of crazy and very confrontational the entire time. And I don't know. Once again though, I think the lore here is actually pretty neat. It's a pretty cool story and all, but I just don't think it's enough to save this like really boring and tedious gameplay, because these puzzles are genuinely such a step down from the original. They are just not fun. I find no joy in doing these. I definitely missed a couple of them on this playthrough though, because I only played through it one time instead of like the required couple times. But I don't know, I was not having it even on a second playthrough where I knew what I was doing. So naturally, I wasn't the most excited for Amanda the Adventurer 3, but it really shocked me, like I said. Amanda 3 opens up with a flashback to someone else doing one of the later puzzles in the game, which I think is actually a really neat concept to teach you early on what to do with one of probably like one of the weirder puzzles. This puzzle does get changed when you do it as our main player character later, but we're gonna ignore that for now. Plus, it really is a good opening section that really sets the stage for what this facility is like. And then you get a flashback to the end of Amanda 2, this very, very creepy scene, before you head down to the sewers and are confronted by the scary freaking woolly monster as all the developer logos are flashing on screen. And then you make your way into the office and you get to the actual first puzzle, which is a pretty good one. I don't think it works properly, really. Like, every time I've done it, it's worked a little bit differently. So, it could just be them fixing things or something else. Still, it's a pretty fun puzzle. But then this next tape at the amusement park is really what makes this game interesting. So, there's a couple tapes in this game where they're not finished. This is like a storyboard. And throughout these tapes, Amanda is actively fighting back against the story that Wooly, aka Hamlin, is trying to create. Because they're feeding her lies that this is her first time doing this ever. But she's done these things with her dad, Sam. Which I think is a really, really neat concept. I think that works so well for this story. Plus, the story was already pretty good. So I think this game just elevates that completely by kind of making Amanda seem like a bit of a victim, which I think is really cool. It's a really neat direction to take the story, I feel. And then after a little bit, you have to take these tapes that are unfinished to this pretty weird looking room that we'll see more of later. And then you hear Amanda recount the story of her and her dad going through these places, which is like really sweet, I'm not gonna lie. I think that's actually really cute. And then after this one, we probably get to my favorite puzzle in the whole game, which is the cooking one. This one is low-key just a lot of fun. And I streamed this, so my chat kind of explained most of it to me, but this one I feel like I could figure out by myself. It was just a ton of fun to actually, like, do this puzzle. Once again, it doesn't entirely make sense, but this one is not one of the worst ones that I've seen. Plus, I mean, in my opinion, the tape itself on this one is pretty funny, so I actually like that. Then after this one, we have another one of those unfinished tapes. This time, it's at the beach, and Amanda is fighting back against Wooly. And by giving her what she wants instead of what Wooly wants, we get to hear her side of the story in that other room once more. And once again, this is a really sweet scene. She's talking about being with her real best friend. Sorry, Wooly. Wooly's catching strays all throughout this game. It's kind of hilarious, but he's kind of annoying, so it's a little bit warranted. And then this gives us the key card that we got in the flashback that now opens up this creepy lab area with all these people in tubes. And now this is pretty much just the puzzle from the beginning, except now Chicken Scratch, the possum, is there, which this guy might actually just be the GOAT of the game. He's absolutely adorable and has like so many of the best scenes. Plus, he's also kind of Amanda's way of fighting back against Wooly and Hamlin, which is always pretty cool. So instead of hitting the buttons that Amanda and Wooly want you to hit, you hit the ones that Chicken Scratch is pointing to. Which I'm sure could be a little difficult on your first playthrough, but I mean, he's literally pointing at it. And then he tries to escape the tape, which is low-key creepy. And then that leads into Wooly chasing you down the elevator. And when I first played this, I kind of thought that that was just going to be the end of the game and there was going to be another one. But no, there's a whole nother section to this, which is low-key really cool. So for this next section, you're in a creepy chapel with some kind of like demonic ritual going on. I don't know. And then you get this pretty creepy tape, I'd say, where Amanda's trying to give this weird doll a makeover. And then every time they show a mirror, you have to look into the mirror and break it. Or not really break it, you just have to click on it. And then after you do this a couple times, you receive the code 4739, which lets you into this big room over here where the actual ritual is going on. And then this next tape is also kind of weird. Wooly has like the ultimate crash out that's very, very glitchy and like seeps into the real world. And then we have to help Amanda put her friends in the right spots for the party. And once again, I feel like these are all puzzles that you can really figure out by yourself. You don't really need to look up a guide for this, in my opinion. Which was my main problem with Amanda 2, where those puzzles were just nonsense. And then once you get them where they all need to be, you sacrifice a tape, and then you put that tape into the tape recorder, and Amanda opens up a little door for you after telling you about her 7th birthday. And not gonna lie, it is a pretty creepy scene. This whole, like, eyeball thing up here is, like, just staring at you the whole time, and I don't really appreciate all that. But now you've reached the end of the game, and you go up to the tube that you've been eyeing this whole time. Because, I mean, it's pretty creepy. And who else is in there but Amanda herself? Not actually Amanda, it's Rebecca, who plays Amanda on the show. And she looks worse for wear. Oh, she's seen better days. So this clip that I'm about to show is the secret ending, because that's what I got on this playthrough, because I had already gotten all the tapes. And this is probably the best ending. So in the first ending that you get, or what's probably the first ending that you get, there's like this big kaiju fight between Scary Amanda and Scary Wooly. And it's low-key pretty epic, but it ends with both of them like getting the crap beaten out of them. Here, that fight, I guess, already happened, because creepy Amanda is looking pretty bad. She's literally like missing an arm. But then Rebecca breaks the last tape, and it looks like, I'm sorry, but it looks like a scene straight out of Thor: Love and Thunder. And then we help Rebecca get out of the facility, and it's a nice happy ending. We saved her, yay. And then it plays this really cute scene from the original show of like a cut tape between Rebecca and Sam, and it's kind of adorable. It's such a nice scene. Especially after seeing all the horrible stuff that Hamlin did once they got their grubby little fingers on the show. It used to just be so wholesome, and this is like what it actually was supposed to be all along. And then the credits roll and the game is done. On my first playthrough of Amanda the Adventurer 2, it took me a solid couple hours to beat it. I'm talking like 3.5 hours. This one probably only took me like a little bit over 2, And I think that's perfect. I don't think the game needs to be much longer than that. It doesn't overstay its welcome, and I really do appreciate it. So yeah, Amanda the Adventurer 3 was a pretty big surprise for me. The game definitely still has a decent amount of issues. Like I said, with the series, I think the problem is that there's not a lot of direction with the puzzles, but this one has it the best out of all of them because there's this little robot that will literally, like, help you with the puzzles. I didn't use him because I'm so tough. Yeah, I'm definitely very tough. I'm making Amanda the Adventurer videos. But he is there if you need him, and I think that's a really, really good idea. I'm sure the devs got a lot of pretty negative feedback after people played Amanda the Adventurer 2. I know Corey Kenshin spent like 5 hours on that one train puzzle, but I'm really glad that DreadXP actually listened to the feedback because it made this game infinitely better. And I really think that this is a very fitting and good conclusion for the Amanda the Adventurer series. Am I glad it's over? A little bit. Definitely a little bit. I don't want them to have a repeat of 2. But if this is the way it goes out, it almost makes me want more. Because this was genuinely a really fun experience. I think Amanda the Adventurer 3 is a good game. Not perfect, not really even great, but it is a good game. And that is exactly what I was hoping for. So yeah guys, with that said, I think that's going to wrap it up for this video. If you guys did enjoy, make sure to leave a like and also subscribe to my channel and hit that notification bell so you know when I host more awesome videos like this. Yeah, let me know your opinions on the Amanda the Adventurer series in the comments down below. Let me know if you also hate 2 or if you really hate 3. I don't know. You guys have some pretty weird opinions sometimes. But yeah, I've been Benjerizer. This has been Amanda the Adventurer 3, and I will see you guys next time. Bye!